Okay, sorry guys about that. Technical difficulties. I think what happened there was there's an audio file that just kind of messed up. So I think, can everyone hear us now? Can everyone see me? Okay, cool. Um, okay, cool. So here we are. Again, apologize for the technical difficulties. Today's a really good one. It's a community edition. I'm just going to start off real quick with some news out there. The Elrond mainnet upgrade just happened, and Phase 3.5 will be starting on June 14th, which is Monday. So that's really awesome. It's a huge thing. I just thought I'd say it to everybody here while I have everybody's attention. So Phase 3.5 on its way. Hooray! Okay, so as usual, a few housekeeping items. As you know, this is an open concept live stream, and because of that, the community and everybody's allowed. So today we have a special guest representing the Elrond Warriors, Jedi Frost. So without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself, explain how he found Elrond, and what the Warriors is all about.
Hey guys, my name is Jedi. I found the Warriors in 2020 in July, but before that happened, I had cold feet with crypto. I originally got Bitcoin in the early days. I put it in Mt. Gox, lost my Bitcoin, as we all know what happened there. And so I watched the markets fall for a good year after I seen it go from 150 to $20,000. Next thing I know, markets fall. I got into Elrond, and the rest was history. I found Elrond because of Crypto Zombie, actually watching one of his YouTube videos, and so I had three pretty big, top five coins, and I let them all go, and I went all in, and I've been staking and chilling ever since.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the Warriors a little bit first. But before we get into that, we have a tradition here, and that's just to prove you're not a droid. Uh, just tell us a little bit about something yourself, what you like to do, something easy that isn't crypto related.
Okay. Um, well, I was when I was in fifth grade, actually, I got into finance, been into sci-fi ever since I was really young, hence the Jedi Frost moniker. I remember the day my dad let me get the Wall Street Journal, and ever since then, it's always been a passion for mine to read and understand economics. Um, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. Yeah,
And, oh,
get
I'm not
into.
a droid.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course you're not a droid. Being a Jedi, I don't think you really like droids that much. Fair enough. Okay, so let's just get into what community means. For me, the community is huge, and the thing about the Warriors that I don't think a lot of people realize is it's actually a really big group of people working day in, day out, tirelessly, creating content for people basically everywhere out there. Um, yeah, can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, with the community, like you said, I mean, everybody that I have ran into and all these different Elron groups have been very passionate. And, personally with me, it started out with, I joined Elron and I saw the community and how vibrant it was. And, it was really new to me. It wasn't something that, I saw before. So the first thing I got into was Amplify, and I'm pretty sure they still have like a little bit of a reward system. But I actually got in there because I was an entrepreneur and into business development, and I wanted to know what I can do. So I joined. I think I sent out one of my first tweets, and I just saw just right off the bat how fast it grew, and it was quite amazing. Um, Soon after that, I asked around and I wanted to get involved. So I guess to explain what an Elrond warrior is, it's someone who wants to help spread the word of Elrond. Um, and it can be anything. Anyone can help. There's people that have skills. There's some people you don't even need to have skills. It's really just wanting to be active and all these different communities that we put together. You have art, music, just people that give great ideas, videos like the Elrond buy and hold, and the newest one I saw that had the Wall Street bets and the Mayer logo in there. That was really sweet. People can do graphic design, like you, clothing. I've seen other people do clothing and handmade wallets. It's pretty cool. And most importantly, the thing about the Elrond Warriors is, you just got to be willing to help other people, keep them safe from scams, help them with some questions and just make their transition nice and smooth.
Yeah, I think a lot of what the Warriors stands for and what they're doing, or what I guess we're doing, like there's a ton of people out there is getting that information out there. The infographics are huge. There's the tutorials that I think eGold Life are doing that are starting to get out there, and
Right.
it's all about just doing something. Everyone has a skill of some sort. Some people might be really good at talking, some people might be really good at making graphics, like you said, and by coming together into the community, we become really really strong. um, uh, what makes you a warrior though? Like why are you so into Elrond?
That's a good question. Um, Well, like again, started out with Amplify, got into Warriors. I just wanted to help, and I wanted to, get some more eyes, more visibility, more adoption. And the thing is, it only takes one person to reach a million people, and that's the beauty of this, and it's really exciting. For instance, like Elrond Partners, it's a great little crew there that we've all become friends. We all work on graphic design. We put out tweets. We discuss ideas, and then just recently, we saw the fruits of our labor when and BitBoy discussed Elrond Warriors, had the picture, and it was a really good moment for us. Um, so then, we got into creating another channel, Elrond Partners Chat. And basically, that is where everybody can discuss all their favorite Elrond partners and why they think they're amazing in their own right. Um, and then I got into the Elrond YouTube like community, and I got inspired, reached out on Twitter, and I contacted a few YouTubers, and one ended up doing an interview with Benjamin, and his name is Hashoshi, and he's a really good guy, and I'm great to have him with the team. And of course, our baby that we've been working on is the Reddit, and this is something really big that we've poured our hearts into. We realized that it's something that was lacking, and also a lot of Americans use Elrond to do their research, and of course the memes. And so what we're wanting to do is produce the best content, a beautiful looking user interface. Um, and so, we're
Yeah,
excited that it's about to go live, and we're gonna let everybody see it here.
that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. So you mentioned Elron America, right? So a lot of people see Elron as a European, like it's from Romania, and there's a lot of Europeans in it. But I think a lot of people don't realize how big it's growing and how fast it's growing in the U.S. And I think that's in part because of a lot of these community members. There's the Elrond US. They showed up a while ago. There's yourself. There's a few other people from the U.S. now out there really thumping the Elrond drum. And we have Benjamin down in Miami, and all that
That's
sort of
true.
stuff. So, like it's just slowly, moving more and more west and getting more and more users, more and more adoption, and this community is one of the biggest reasons for it. The obviously the biggest thing that Elrond has going for it is its tech, right? Like I don't think anyone can say that, but a very close second, if not tied for first, is the community. Without the power of this community, I don't think Elrond would be where it is today. You know, um, there's
Correct.
there's been a lot of a lot of misinformation out there. Just recently, the Coin Bureau stuff, which has been debunked several times. And if you're just watching and you've seen the Coin Bureau stuff, just keep in mind all those top 10 wallets are exchange wallets, vesting wallets, smart contract for staking contracts, and all that sort of stuff. They're not individual whales, so that is misinformation. So I just wanted to make sure that I hammered that home here today as well, while we're here. Um,
Definitely.
but yeah, and it's just the power of this community is super strong, right? And there's things like you said, like Elrond Partners that's out there doing their stuff, and tons of stuff like that. And imagine imagine this community in a situation where it can go into other projects, and that's kind of the second topic of this call, which is around MPAD, and how the Meyer Launchpad is going to take the super engaged community and then give the community a chance to incubate projects chosen by Elrond, the people who we follow. I think that strength is going to lend to that. Do you have anything specific you want to say around the community and how it's one of the big drivers around
Definitely.
hold culture, and all that sort of stuff.
Definitely. Well, first I wanted to comment on the Coin Bureau. I think definitely when you're hearing FUD like that, you're really disrupting the status quo, and I feel like we're doing something right. Unfortunate, but at the same time, it's pretty amazing that all news is good news, really. Especially just him talking about us. So I'm really proud of us. I think we've done good, and 100% agree. You explained it perfectly. It's just misinformation. And as far as the community's involvement in the MPAD, it's very exciting. The the team could have given this opportunity to investors. They could have given some of the MPAD and MEX to themselves, but they didn't. And it showed a lot of love, and 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 they earned a lot of respect from me. And I knew that I was on the right path with Elrond, and so the way the community helps, like you said as well, we're really passionate. And I do want to say, like, the team, we all know the team works 365 days a year, grinding it out, 24 hours a day. And the same thing with the community. We're working just as hard, pushing each other hard, and really it's just one team. You got Elron and you got the community, and they just have like this perfect mesh where they're enabling each other to dig a little deeper and reach a little higher. And again, everybody can be a part of the community and get their voices heard.
Yeah, it's that
But yeah,
closed feedback loop, right? And you're getting info from the team directly. Things are getting checked over. You're also doing the own contests out there and your own ecosystem. But as this giant group together, we all move forward and work together. There's something I like to say a lot is together we are strong, and I stand by that. The help that people give in the community. You get people even to this day coming and saying, "Oh, how do I start a node?" or "How do I do this?" And you oftentimes see more people trying to help. And there's not more people trying to help than having to chase someone down to get help. And that's something that's just absolutely incredible in this space. You go into some other chains and you ask someone for help, and they'll just send you a link or this and that. I've been on calls with people getting help. I've been giving help with people on any desk, and I see it every day in the Elrond Warriors and the partners chats. There's people in there saying, "Oh, you can do this, cool." There's guys making T-shirts out there. There's people doing contests all the time, but it's done in a linear fashion and together, which is incredible. I think
Yeah.
the team doesn't sleep, but guess what? The community doesn't either. It's
It's organic.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, organic growth is the most important part. And when you look at things like MPAD, um, if I were a project looking for somewhere to launch my project, and I knew that Elrond had this awesome, strong community there that was super engaged, believed in hold culture. We're looking to help the next best thing. I mean, the community went out and built Elrond partners to help promote all the partners of Elrond. So imagine what a launchpad is going to do for a project, let alone the fact Elrond's going to be picking it and the high level of standards that Elrond has, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 100% community owned, and it's an amazing thing. I like to try to rile the troops up, and sometimes I get a little pompous with it, but I like to always bring up the John F. Kennedy thing, and it's the fact that don't ask what Elron can do for you, but and it's really true. It's about what you can offer for the whole ecosystem for Elron, and again, everybody can play a part, and everybody has skills, and everybody has talents, and everybody can get involved, and especially with MPAD, because basically everybody's like a board member, a shareholder. We're all a part of it, like truly a part of something that from the inside, and I think a lot of people haven't grasped that concept yet, but it's really exciting, and I have 100% faith that this community is going to send this thing to the moon.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's get into some of the things that actually make MPAD stand out. So personally, I've been involved in a lot of incubation concepts out there, a lot of projects where you have to hold so much coin, or you have to tweet. You have to share this tweet in order to get on the whitelist, or you have to, in order to have a gold tier, platinum tier, and all this sort of stuff. And then of course, they release the coins the same day as the listing, and then the listing event is this giant parabola up, and then this giant profit take from all the people who are involved. And from the information we've been given about MPAD, which makes me really excited, is that there's going to be fair distribution. They're going to reward community members and holders, which is super awesome. There'll be things in place to prevent pump and dumps, or I don't know if you'd call them initial Elrond listings, IELs, let's
Sure.
call them. I
Yeah.
don't know what we're
Basically
going.
protecting
Yeah,
us against rug pulls.
yeah, exactly. And so there'll be vesting there, kind of like how MEX is being released, and that sort of stuff. And then obviously I think the strongest point will be the projects that everyone's going to pick in order to do this. The launch pad to me is next level, and they're building it themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the amazing thing. A lot of companies they outsource this type of stuff, and they outsource different modules and components. And that's another beautiful thing about Elrond is they've taken the hard road, and they're building everything vertically within. And it's kind of like Apple. When you look at like how streamlined the software is when you're using it. the UX, the user experience is just amazing. Obviously we don't know what the MPAD is going to look like, but I imagine the UX is going to it's going to carry over into all these things. And what the MPAD's the second token, for Elrond. So it's just good times.
Okay, cool. We have a question there. I'll start taking some questions. I think we have the first one here from Valid Blocks, and his Eddies or Addies. What key property features should we look at in a project when thinking of incubating on MPAD? And that's a really good question. What features I guess would I look for in a project? One and the most important is a totally vetted, non-anonymous team. I don't necessarily believe in fully anonymous teams. I know in some cases they have their place for privacy coins and whatnot, but the most important thing is always to take a look at the team and do your own due diligence on who the team is. The other thing is obviously look at the tech and what they're trying to achieve. Are they trying to achieve something that's already missing that isn't in the blockchain space, or are they or are they doing something that's just totally groundbreaking and new? And then of course there's tokenomics, which is also really important. Are they planning an inflationary model or a deflationary model? Those are sort of the things I would look at from more of a trader hat, I suppose. I don't know about yourself, Jedi.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to look at it like who's going to make the biggest impact, and how can I see it making an impact? Of course, like, you know, com- when you look at everything else out there, and there's a lot of missing gaps, and there's going to be some really interesting. I mean, I'm just excited to see what kind of interesting projects will pop up. Of course, there's going to be DeFi projects, but I'm curious to see if something kind of branches off away from crypto, and gets it's still in blockchain, but you're not dealing with, um, yeah,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you're gonna want to look for. I think I've frozen again, but you guys can probably still hear me. There's a problem with this XSplit. There we go. I'm back. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, but yeah, like the incubation of projects are 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 huge for the community, right? And security is also a huge aspect to it all. So I think I think with the UX of Elrond, like you were saying, um, and all that stuff, you're going to see an MPAD that's just going to a launch pad that's going to take it to a whole new level. You're going to give the opportunity to this community to build to be part of, as you said, a board member of these projects. And you were touching on the possible of a dynamic blockchain that isn't quite blockchain or isn't quite legacy either, right? And I think in the future we're going to see projects that are very much so vertically integrated with both, right? And maybe yeah, Elrond will have some great projects there. I don't know if you remember the IEO days of Binance, or then even the ICO days of previous, and where some of those projects have came today. But there's things like the Pancake Swap stuff going on. There's those guys, and if you kind of notice what happens with all those projects in the beginning, it's kind of like the new craze. So like the IEO craze, everyone goes there. Everyone went to Pancake Swap for a bit, and now they're still kind of there doing some. There's some other guys doing stuff. So it's really interesting to see that now Elrond's gonna have these launch pads, and yeah, like who knows what we're gonna call them. I mean, I like IEL myself. It's kind of cool, um, but yeah, we have
yeah,
a go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just what you were saying is a lot of times, the way what I like about what's happening right now is they're kind of controlling their own destiny. You're just talking about how, you got these flavors of the week, and it's the new hype coin, and then next week it's the next hype coin, and it's for me, that's just noise, like truly, if they're going to make a big impact, and you could see them being there in 10 years, and that they're just so on the next level compared to the competition. That's interesting, And I'm not saying pancake swap's not interesting, but I definitely think that with the MEX and the MPAD, it being decentralized, community owned, and then for a whole month the team is just gonna push and make them better, and make them, like I said, reach higher, dig deeper, to perform the best they possibly can. And of course, the community is going to be just as involved with that as they are. So again, it's just really exciting.
No, it is, and yeah, and above all, they're going to have a community that comes strong behind them. Okay, we have another question here, and it says, "What level of impact do you see MPAD listings having on the price of EGLD and further decentralization of the Elrond wallet holders?" So,
Okay.
do you want to answer that, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if there's going to be an exact correlation, but I will say that if there is a project that people are excited about, it's going to be talked about in regards to Elrond. So you're going to get all this adoption that is going to be coming from, let's just say, America, and it's going to come over. They're going to see these projects. They're going to start exploring Elrond partners, looking through the 150 partnerships that we have, and I think a lot of people are going to have their minds blown when they realize how far Elrond has come. Probably 2, 3 years ahead most. I would say I'm biased, but any layer one chain. It's what they have been able to get done in short amount of time is just sheer amazement. So yeah, I definitely think eGold is going to rise, but I don't know, to put it into like terms where someone buys this and they're going to have to get some eGold, and that's going to increase the market cap by 0.01%. I don't get that, but I do know long term it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, MPAD's going to be using Elrond, right? So there'll be increased fees. We'll be getting more traffic on the network for optics. We'll have more usage. And the big thing with the big word out there for AMNs and MPADs is TVL, right? Total value locked. And so that's where kind of the MEX stuff comes into play too, right? So early MEX holders, potentially early MEX LP users, liquidity providers are going to have a chance to be incentivized in order to take part in these launch pads at a closer level. And because of that, you're going to see stronger holds. And to get in, if let's say a liquidity pool provider might have a guaranteed allocation, that sort of thing, or might have a bit of a higher allocation because they're providing an LP, and that tends to be the case in a lot of cases. That's so with that, you're going to want to have your eGold and your MEX staked. You might have your eGold or your BUSD or your stablecoin staked in there, and because of that, people are going to be buying more eGold in order to get the incentives that MEX is going to provide. Right?
And that goes back to the whole feedback loop that that Benny talked about in the beginning and that you mentioned, and I totally forgot about that. So it's just, it just builds up more energy and more energy, so it's awesome.
Yeah, and like the whole thing with MEX is like the community. The community, it's there for the community, right? It's the next big leap into Elrond, and the Launchpad is there just to complement it. I'm super excited for Launchpad personally, and MEX as well. And this community is going to knock it out of the park, without a doubt. So yeah, the the launch pads that are out there now, they're, like I said, they're getting better, but honestly don't think anything's going to come close to the user experience of what Elrond's going to be able to provide. Um, at all. And just the hold culture that is within Elrond. If you've actually looked at the distribution, the staking numbers during our this bear trend or whatever, right? Like it didn't really move too much. Like there was actually more people coming in and buying these proverbial dips, if you want to call them, and that sort of stuff. And so just imagine what's going to happen with MPAD. You'll be selling out in seconds, like in traditional Elrond fashion. I don't know how long you've been around Elrond, but any new product that gets released tends to get sold out pretty quickly. The Genesis staking, there was the pre-staking, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
was there. I was there during not the first. I got there when it was 29% APY. So July 4th, I think it started to go live, where we're able to stake, and then so that's when July the 4th of 2020.
yeah, which was the Genesis staking, right? So
Correct.
that would have
Genesis.
yeah. There was a lot of products before that. Well, there was one on New Year's Eve, I think it was 2018 New Year's Eve or 2019 New Year's. I can't remember. I remember it was New
Oh
Year's
wow.
Eve. I knew it was New Year's Eve, and I had to rush. I had to rush to my to my desk. It was like 6 or 7. It was releasing at the first batch was releasing
And
at
it's
something.
gone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it was always just it was always just gone. And it's just happened with Phase 3 3.0 Genesis staking. It's just the way it is. There's demand. So MPAD is going to give that. We have a question here. When talking about MPAD slash MEX, do you have any concerns about the tight, ambiguous schedule, releasing so much at almost the same time, or do you think everything will be perfect at launch, or the team can do it? So the thing about Elrond that we've always been talking about on these is they don't release stuff that is broken. You get a ton of chains out there always rushing out their work, trying to release 3 or 4 things at once, and then guess what happens? Chain goes down, or contract breaks. There's a hack, there's a rug pull, it rebases. There's all these things that happen, and it's absolutely crazy that these things happen because they weren't stress tested and they weren't put through the ringer. So do I think everything is going to be perfect on launch? I mean, I'm an optimist, but nothing's ever perfect day one, and there will be
Yeah.
improvements. But they're gonna knock it out of the park because they're not going to release something that's broken. Elrond's gone
Yeah.
down. How many times has the chain gone down? Just take
0.
exactly, and that's a huge part of it. Um, so there's a
I
few
agree.
Yeah, so there's a few more questions here. We have another one. Do you expect MPAD projects to require KYC? If not, do you think Elrond will be successful in bringing new users into crypto with MEX and MPAD? So on the KYC topic, I think that actually doesn't come down to Elrond. That comes down to the other project. And I've as I said, I've been involved in a lot of incubations. I've been involved in a lot of private rounds, and it usually comes down to what the project requires, not what the platform requires. The platform can say there's no KYC, but most likely the project is going to require it. And in nowadays world of anti-money laundering, KYC, and the conversations out there about regulations, and there's the SEC and all that fun stuff. I don't think any project that wants to be taken seriously should ever not do KYC. So I can be almost sure that KYC will be a part of it. And you were saying, like, will that bring new users into MEX and MPAD? It absolutely will. You get these projects coming in that are gonna blow people's minds, or these hybrid solutions that might come in, and projects picked by a team that builds. build should be building rockets, but are building that instead. Um, so yeah, yeah, and like the launch is going to be really strong, and I think once people see that and we start getting our MEX total value locked up, the TVL number, you're going to see that going up in all the DeFi leaderboards. I've recently seen another project. I'll just remain nameless, but it took its TVL from 5 million to 400 million in a couple weeks, and as it climbed the leaderboard, just more and more people started coming in. The fees started getting higher, and its platform has just became a really strong platform, or is starting to become one. So it's this debate between the AMN styles and then your more derivative style exchanges is really heated. But I think, yeah, the automated makers are going to bring a lot of people in. I don't know if you have anything on that, Jedi.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was having some Bluetooth issues.
Fair enough. Oh, we can hear you fine. So putting price to one side because that's a byproduct of adoption. I agree, Rob. Where do you see the number of users in a year from the 600K today? Well, we're at 600K users, and we started growing really quickly, and that line is a nice steady growth. I always like to be conservative, so I would go with at least double, maybe even triple, especially with things like MPAD. Do you have anything to say, Jedi?
Y- Yeah, I mean, those are conservative numbers for sure, Um, Everything with Elrond is exponential. And, honestly, I think with the U.S. waking up to what Elrond is about, there's just, possibly you got a stable coin, MPAD, MEX. All these things are going to translate to more adoption. And, I just think the next Elrond super cycle, you'll see it really fast, and that's not what we always want. We're going to want to have a slow grind up just so we don't have a heart attack,
Yeah, yeah.
'cause I
What
got
goes
enough gray
what?
hairs.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, no. Like what goes up must come down, right? I mean, that's and it's the price aside thing. And Rob, Rob Ella asked this question. I'm really happy that you're putting the price side aside, because price obviously it can be on most people's mind because that's how people are earning, but but you got to remember, like, markets are cyclical. Things go up and down all the time, and we're always going to be in for these awesome roller coaster rides of going all like MPAD MEX. We're going to see potential ton of people flooding in. Whether or not that affects the price or not, we're going to get more users, which is more adoption, which exponentially eventually will give you a higher price in a super cycle, or in just a bull market, right? And I think the strongest thing about Elrond again is this big flash crash, or the crash that happened a couple weeks ago. You just take a look at our staking contract, some of the other guys'
Yeah.
staking contracts, and there was people flooding in and buying more, and price, while it's important, isn't is just a byproduct.
Correct.
Absolutely.
If you look at Elrond, or growth.elrond, and that's something I, totally forgot to bring that up, but that it's an amazing transparency that they put that out there in the first place. But second of all, you're looking at how much is locked up in the exchanges. And so every week, man, we get so excited to see the prices just, I mean, not the prices, to see the the e-gold leave the exchanges and come into the web wallet, into Myar. So,
Yeah, and wait,
that's just
and
proof
just
that it's happening.
exactly, and wait till the exchange comes out and Launchpad comes in. You're gonna see more e-gold flooding in, for Launchpad, and more adoption, and yeah, eventually it's gonna get there.
Yeah.
So we have another few questions here. So in regards to MPAD, how do you expect the community to react and further boost the potential of Elrond and the IEL projects? I'll leave that to you.
Can you repeat that again? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure. So in regards to MPAD, how do you expect the community to react and further boost the potential of Elrond and the initial listings?
Okay. So let's just imagine we get a project. They announce the first project, and that's going to get everybody excited. Everybody's going to dig in, research as much as they can on it. They're all going to talk about it. It's going to be you got Amplify Warriors, Elrond Partners chat, the Elrond YouTube, Reddit. All these things are going to be hitting in sync, and it's just going to enable these things to get a big outreach, so people can kind of take hold and you know
Yeah,
boost these things up in value and adoption and everything else.
yeah. I think the community is going to react extremely positively. Look at what they did, what you guys did on your own with Elrond Partners. You went out on your own, created Elrond Partners, and created a portal for every partner that gets released, and then does a good chunk of marketing for them as well. If there's something coming up for a partner, Warriors are on it and partners are on it every single time. So a project's going to come and look at that and say, okay, like Elrond has this giant basically marketing machine. And if you want to talk about amplify for a second and what that is, that might be a good thing as well, because amplifying a project would be huge.
Yeah, yeah. I did want to say something, and I was starting to lose it, but we were talking about how the community can help out, and it totally will. Well, the main thing with this is that you're going to have all these channels, like I said, hitting in sync and talking about it, and a lot of the times it's just gonna create, like you said, like a feedback loop, and this thing's just gonna be a monster when it finally takes hold. And I think everybody's excited. We're all waiting patiently, and it's just a matter of time. So it's a good time to be in Elrond and be a part of something that's going to be great. To be a part of something that can theoretically be a world financial system, or at least complement a world financial system.
Yeah, agreed. So we have some more questions there in the chat. We have how do you see dot moves as the first MPAD project? So dot moves is a project, a sporting project, fitness and scoring a logarithm, earn and you'll be earning NFTs for that. And I think with their incubated support, they have Moonrock Capital. I don't know if you guys who know who that is. They're huge. They have the Binance. They're integrated with Smart Chain, and they'll be doing a whole lot of stuff. Like their ambassadors you have Luis Figo. I Luis Figo, a huge tech guy. I actually saw him in Web Summit a few years ago. He walked right by me, and I didn't even realize who he was till 2 seconds later. I thought it was him, and then, anyways,
That's awesome.
and yeah, it's you got CrossFit stuff going on, boxing, and with just the stuff that's going on in the world, in terms of fitness and that general that general topic. I think bringing in fitness into Elrond and the Elrond NFTs, and scoring and that sort of stuff is going to be huge. And you have guys like Luis Figo backing this, who's huge out there in the tech world. He's always looking for new ways to participate in new and innovative ways. So I think it's awesome. And I mean, their ticker's awesome. It's moves, right? So how better of a ticker for fitness is that, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's kind of out of the norm. It's not like the techie nerdy crypto stuff that everybody sees that just kind of gets washed, you know. Um, so the dot moves is kind of up my alley. I really like where it's going. Of course, they got some good celebrity spokesmen too. So they're going to be pushing. And I want to say one quick thing, and it's basically that with all these projects in our ecosystem, I think what's going to be happening now is that there's going to be like a unity in our ecosystem where you're looking at 150 projects and they all embrace Elrond, and it's kind of like the thread that ties it all together. Everybody backing everybody. Like you were talking about how we were marketing for other partners, because that's it, that what's good for them is good for us too. So I don't think we are quite there yet, but I think we're definitely on the cusp of really bringing like a family of a ecosystem together, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and yeah, and yeah. So Valid Blocks is saying he's going to officially challenge me on dot moves. That's Eddie probably.
Nice.
Eddie being funny. Um, so Thomas is saying, do you think there might be a fantasy sports project on MPAD? Who, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be awesome to see it on Elrond, anyways.
Yeah.
Fantasy sports. There's a U.S. show called The League that I don't think it ever really made it over to Europe, but it's about fantasy sports, and fantasy sports is absolutely massive. And the football manager stuff over here in Europe, and I think that would be absolutely awesome to see fantasy sports. It'd be
100%.
great.
So many use cases.
Yeah, and if like MPAD is there, there's you can actually, if you are a developer out there and have an idea or have a team, you can actually go and apply for MPAD already. You can just go to the MeyerLaunchpad.com, and I think there's a button there where you can go and apply. So if you are listening, and a fantasy sports project would be awesome. Um,
Do it.
love that idea.
Do
Um,
it.
yeah. So I don't know if we have any more questions. Is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to give any shout outs to anybody? Um,
If I shout out to one person, I gotta shout out to everybody. So I'll forget somebody, but just really proud of the community. And like I said, I've been here since July, and I've just seen it grow and grow, and just the community come together. So it's looking forward to seeing what the next year is going to be.
yeah, and your Reddit stuff is coming out too, right? Soon you were saying.
Yeah, that should be coming. So, like our Reddit page, thanks for bringing that up. We're working on several things, and we're gonna have a big launch. We're hoping within a week. So we're really done. We're just kind of polishing up and put the final touches on things. So there's just a lot of good people that I work with, and or we work together, that have just done. They stand. I mean, we stay up, probably get 4 hours of sleep a day. It's or if that sometimes. So it's just because we're so excited, and every day we kind of see where this is going, and we can't wait to share the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, for sure. And I can't wait to see it. Reddit's awesome. And we have a few more questions actually. So we have another one saying, "What are our opinions on the Holoride integration with Audi?" My opinion is absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
and it's going to change. My girlfriend actually
Gotcha.
has car sickness. And one of the big things about Hollow Ride is that it actually helps reduce that and gives people a distraction away from the motion sickness.
Wow.
And to have just that alone, like that's a physiological thing, that they did, but also coupled with the psychology thing, and then into the best tech in the world, and into Audis, which are now my favorite car. I don't know about anybody else, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
this
mine too actually. So that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and so yeah, this integration is next level. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to try it. I actually don't live too far from Germany, so hopefully
Wow.
I'll be able to go get a free spin and test it out beforehand, and I'll report
Yeah.
back.
Man,
Um,
and honestly, with Holoride, if any other project would have listed it, I could have imagined it would have been like a huge, uh, just gigantic. And really, it is. 100%. It's going to be a long term, thing that's going to bring value to Elrond. So it's
well, it's
just
gonna
a good
bring
opportunity to
it's
jump into Elrond now because all these
exactly.
things are going to just explode once they do. And
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see what else we have. Fantasy sports project on Elrond is gamified GFX, so there is one. Apparently, we just got that. But anyways,
awesome.
we have Lorenzo saying we are great people. Thank you. You are all great people. I'll say some last words here if there's no more questions. So I just want to thank you, Jedi, for coming on and representing the Warriors and yourself and Elrond Partners and for all the hard work you do. I want to extend that to every other Warrior out there. As far as I'm concerned, we're all Elrond Warriors. And every single one of us are out there day in day out getting no sleep and doing what we can to promote Elrond and get that adoption up. I think every single one of you out there who's working hard is a true legend. And don't you forget it. No matter what you do, big or small, is super super important. And yeah, the to go back to that, not don't ask what Elrond can do for you. Ask what you can do for Elrond. And if you're sitting there watching right now, and you've been thinking about doing something, writing a blog or doing anything, reach out to me, reach out to anybody, or just do it yourself, and we'll help you. We'll amplify you. The community is there to get more people involved and get more fish hooks out there in the pond so that we can start catching more fish, and that's what it's all about, guys. And I don't know how to say it. I love this community. I love Elrond, and I'm just lucky to be part of it in here today.
Man, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and yeah. At bottom line is we're all warriors, right? So let's warrior on. Let's keep pushing forward. Hold the line. This this is Elrond. Like that Sparta chant. Because that's kind of the logo. I think well, we can call ourselves Spartans if we want. Um, okay, so thanks again. Is
You're
really
welcome.
really really enjoyable. I just
I
want to
appreciate you having
I
me
just
in.
want to apologize for the technical difficulties there at the start, um, but we made it through it in the end. So everyone have a good night and try and get some sleep. But see you on the web.
All right. Take care. Be
Yeah,
safe.
yeah. See you. Bye bye.